the bad is what feels good? Is it my polarity holding me back? Or is the demiurge what's getting me off track? So is it my polarity holding me back? Oh, or is the demiurge what's getting me off track? Angel on one side, devil on the other, both cloud chasing on each shoulder. Devil says do as you will, angel says do what I should. Am I thinking as I should? What's bad, what is good? Is it my polarity holding me back? Or is the demiurge what's getting me on track? Nothing is perfect but can't be a devil. I'll be the middleman, make keeping it level.
There's no such thing as a being with a red pitchfork, walking around slew-footed with a tail, damning you to hell forever. That's just not how it works. Yo, what's up, people? This is K Paper Chase, and I want to welcome you to Sound Off. And today, I got a good discussion today. So today, what I want to do is I want to talk about evil. All right. So at first, what I did is I wanted to call the name of the stream the devil, and I made a little, you know what I'm saying, like a little short for it. But I think people kind of took it the wrong way. So what happens is a lot of people have their own ideas as to what they think the devil is or who the devil is. So what I want to do is I want to get past all of the spooky stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I want to get to the point where we're at the point where we know what it is and we're not necessarily afraid of it. See, because that's the main thing. Sometimes this spooky stuff, what it's going to do, it's going to make you kind of be afraid. And things that we are afraid of, a lot of times because we're afraid of it, we don't want to explore it any further. So let's talk about it. So I think this is going to be pretty good. Yeah, but this isn't any kind of like satanic, anything like that. But I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why people do the things that we do. Yeah. So people were afraid. What I did is when I made the thumbnail, I put it in red. I was trying to bring some attention to what I was doing. And like I said, I had named it the devil at first, but I want to talk about any evil thing and anything that we're kind of like afraid of. All right. So my whole thing is, we can't really fight something that we don't know about. A lot of people choose to stay ignorant in some things because their thought is, if I don't know about it, I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't have to scare me. But the thing is, once you start learning about stuff, it's not scary no more because you've already figured it out. And one of the things, like I said, why I was going to name it that, because I think that people get the wrong impression of what they think the devil is. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I mean, is the devil somebody that we should really be deifying and giving that much power? You know? So some people say we'll attribute the power to supernatural forces, but when we really look at it, it's not that supernatural. There's no such thing as a being with a red pitchfork, walking around slew-footed with a tail, damning you to hell forever. That's just not how it works. And I think a lot of times when we get into the religion, that what tends to scare us. And by scaring us, making us afraid of it, that puts us in a box. And with that box, your cognitive dissonance is going to already start kicking in. You know what I mean? Because it's something that you don't necessarily believe in it. So let's start with the fairy tales as far as the devil, creeping around. I mean, I don't look at it as a being like that. I think that greed, when you have selfishness, prejudice, and also the absence of empathy, that's what drives people to commit evil. It's not somebody that's walking around sticking you with their pitchfork and now you got to do what they say. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start looking at this psychologically and kind of really look at the science instead of going to religion, because I feel like the science would give us an understanding that we can test that's here physically on earth. And we don't have to just have faith in something or believe in something. We can kind of know what it is and know, you know what I'm saying, how to fight it. But you have to learn your enemy in order to fight your enemy. And you have a clearer picture of what I mean too, because by going with this devil, um, it's sort of like a scapegoat. You can always say like, "Hey, the devil made me do it." So now that's your scapegoat that you use, and now you did it because you wanted to do it. The devil didn't make you do it. All right. So let's stop using that and let's start being, more responsible for our actions. In my earlier video, a few days ago, I did a video on karma. So you can definitely check that out because that just shows how everything is going towards a balance or equilibrium place. So the karma is just the universe's way of having action as a reaction. So whenever there's action, there's a reaction. So that's what karma does. And the reason why that's so important because that leaves us, the karma is going to leave us responsible for what we do. We're not going to be able to do bad and say, okay, the devil made me do it. Or we're not going to be able to do bad and say, okay, I can do what I want as long as Jesus forgive me. Or as long as, I do this certain thing in this other religion, I'm going to be forgiven. No, the logical way to explain that is karma. And that's what I think it is. And it can be kind of measured. I think it can be measured a little bit if we just look at stuff from a different perspective, from a higher level perspective, and be able to look at the whole picture, the big picture. So, yeah, so why do we have evil? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we live in a world where everything is like utopia, everything is good, it's no crime, it's no anything like that? And what I think is that would be impossible. It wouldn't work. So we got to realize that good and evil are different polarities of the same spectrum. All right. So it's the same spectrum. It's the same thing. We got good on this side and we got evil on this side. So you might swift from one direction to the other direction. And the main thing, what we're trying to do is reach that equilibrium because that equilibrium right there in the middle is where we can be more stable at. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're too much on the evil side, you're doing bad things. If you're too much on the good side, evil stuff might happen in order to balance it out. So, we all want to be more so on the good side. So I always shoot for that. But the real enlightenment is being in total equilibrium. When you're doing stuff without even thinking about good and evil, you just automatically do it because your spirit makes you do it and you stay right there in the middle. And sometimes other things happen. You might have something really, really, really bad happen to you. And I would always tell people, hey, that just means something good don't come. Damn, you had 5 bad things happen to you. You know you got some good on the way. You know what I mean? So that's that equilibrium. And that's the point that we're trying to reach. All right, so the problem with evil, all right, so it's a problem because the thing is, we try so hard to fight it, but we'll never be able to escape it. You know, it's no such thing as a perfect world. I mean, evil is pretty much here to stay. So, like I said earlier, we should be striving to make that balance because that balance is what's going to keep us in tune, you know. And another problem with evil, okay, is that people tend to be self righteous when it comes to punishing people for their evil deeds. So, what happens is we have to fight evil with evil. Let me say that again. The thing that makes it so crazy and such a paradox is that we fight evil with evil. We can't enforce any kind of rules or anything like that without being evil ourselves. Okay, does that make sense? So just to say the stoning, right? Let's say you over in another country and somebody gets stoned. This lady had an affair. They're stoning her. So, in my opinion, they're doing more evil than they are good. And especially when the punishment exceeds the offense. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's their culture. So that's why this is so subjective because in the United States, we wouldn't do that. But in their mind, what they're doing is right. In our mind, what they're doing is wrong. So we actually have different values, but in their culture, it's okay to do that. Now they'll just do the same thing and look at our culture and say, hey, that lady should be stoned, but that's what they believe in. So can you really call that evil? Is it evil? Yeah, I definitely think it's evil. You stoning somebody for an offense. Any kind of punishment is evil. And that was my whole point that we have to do evil in order to fight evil. That's wild, right? All right, so let me give an example. Imagine somebody is late to work, right? And he's speeding on his way to work. He hits the old lady and kills the old lady. He is charged with vehicular manslaughter and he gets the death penalty. So, in order to punish him for what he did, we have to commit evil. And not only that, we're committing the evil that was worse than the evil of killing the lady. So, you know what I'm saying? They might look at that over in Iraq or in a different country. They might say that's wild, because he definitely wasn't trying to hit her. So it was an accident, but we killed him for the accident. So, in my opinion, that's evil. So a lot of this punishment is evil. Even if you give somebody the death penalty for killing somebody, that's still evil because whoever's pulling that flipping that switch or pushing that button, that's evil because they're still doing evil. And what may be justified as evil enough to be killed for in one society or one religion or one group may not be on the other one. You see what I'm saying? So it's very subjective. Okay, like in China. Okay, so say you give away some secrets or you do some kind of espionage or something like that. That's death. So they will kill you. And they're not necessarily killing people in the most humane ways. I mean, we might think that that's evil, but it's okay for us to press that button on somebody because we feel like we killed them. And the reason because of that is that you can be wrong. So you wrong, you killed the wrong person. Not did you only do evil, but you did the evil to the wrong person. And that happens a lot. So yeah, I definitely don't agree with the death penalty just for that reason. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in it, and it's evil to even try to prosecute somebody or to give somebody time or something like that. And a lot of people know what's going on. They know that it might not be that person, but they'll still do it. So that's evil too. So basically, what I'm saying, the whole system is evil. The government, the law system, all that shit is evil. You know, it's evil. So yeah, we use this reality to punish what we think is evil. And a lot of times that punishment is more severe than the crime. And we justify this with our different laws and customs. We can have a law over here where it's evil, a law in another country where it's not evil. They looking at us like we crazy. We looking at them like they crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. And something that I also noticed is it's evil to be self-righteous. So what happens is somebody does something wrong, right? Somebody does something wrong, and then there's somebody else that feels, I guess, more self-righteous because, hey, I didn't do that. And a lot of times they'll punish the person. And like I said, the punishment will actually be more evil than the original offense. And people like this feel good giving that out. But behind closed doors, if it was themselves or their family, they wouldn't do that. So that's selective evil. That's evil. You know what I'm saying? So it comes in a lot of forms, and it's not a man going around poking people with a pitchfork. It comes in a lot of different forms. So we need to just learn what the oppression is and learn what's going on, just so we can fight better. You know, so it's like I told you, it's not no spookism. This isn't a spooky video. You know, no, I'm never gonna go so off base where I'm saying stuff that that's kind of out of this world. Because, like I said, I believe in it now. Just like the other videos, we need to keep our eyes on where we are right now. Not a whole lot of daydreaming, looking to the future, missing your opportunities, and not a lot of backtracking or reminiscing and stuff. How stuff is so bad now. So we need to stay in the now. Remember that, and then we can pay more attention to these things. Okay. So we really do need to change our paradigm when it comes to punishment, when it comes to crimes and offenses. It doesn't make a good person if the punishment you inflict is harsher than the crime. It doesn't make you a good person if the punishment that you inflict, if you're in that position, is harsher than the crime. It just makes you more evil. And any way you put it, we got to use evil to fight evil. So yeah, it's a really sticky situation. It really is. It's crazy. Um, what else did I have about evil? So yeah, I would love to hear you all's comments. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think when it comes to crime and punishment, and just give your opinion on the video. I'd like to hear some other alternatives. So there are sociological and psychological factors to the way that we act, the way we act. So it's definitely something behind it that's more psychological. It's not necessarily a deity or anything that's walking around spreading evil. Now, what I do say is that a lot of evil and what we see as evil is actually the evil in ourselves. So you got to remember that there's a lot of projection going on. I found myself doing this recently. You got to make sure that the things that you get annoyed or you're mad about, you have to make sure to look at yourself because a lot of times they come from ourselves. And one of the main ways of being evil is being selfish. So, we got to just really be careful and really make sure that we aren't projecting ourselves all over other people. And just because somebody does something, the less evil thing to do would just, you know what I'm saying? At least try to help them. Well, I'm not saying I'm trying to help them. Damn, you commit a crime, you commit a crime. But I'm just saying the way we look at them, just because they've done something we haven't, that doesn't give us the right to inflict a harsher crime. Excuse me. Yeah, allergies. So we gotta just be careful of that too. So yeah, a lot of stuff, man. And then I think the hell thing is where a lot of people get caught up too, saying if you don't do a certain thing, or if you don't follow a certain rule, you're going to hell. And what I say is hell is subjective as well. I feel like whatever you believe in is going to be your hell. So, if your hell, if you really think that you're going to go burn in hell forever, you know what I mean, after you die, that might just happen for you because that's where your consciousness is. So let's just, rethink the way we think about stuff, man, because this evil stuff is crazy. And we need to hold ourselves and the people around us accountable for the evil instead of saying, the devil made me do it. Yep, the devil made me do it. To me, that's an excuse. So we got to make sure that we're not committing evil and then blaming it on the devil. All right. So yeah, y'all definitely let me know what you think. I'm about to get out of here. I want to thank you for joining Sound Off. And it's K Paper Chase. Peace. If I said you smell like shit, then that's not a compliment. That's a bad thing, right? But if I say, yo, you are the shit, then that's a good thing. So it's all subjective. Yo, what's up? It's your boy K Paper Chase, and I'm here to sound off with you. And today I want to talk about evil. Okay. So basically this is just a part two because I already made a part one about the evil, and I wanted to make a part two. And I want to make a part two. It's sort of like following like the part one. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. All right. So what is evil? Why are we so afraid of evil? And I want to just talk about like the parallels between fear and evil because they're not the same thing. And most people think that they are. So I want to really talk about that today. All right. So why are we afraid of some things, right? Why do some things make us afraid? Is it because what we think about it? Is it because what we heard about it? Or is it because it looks scary? Or is it because we think it's evil? And there's a lot of misconceptions about evil. And that's what I want to talk about. All right. So what is fear? And flipping back to fear, why do we fear certain things, right? So we fear what we don't understand. Um, Anything that we don't really know about, we're going to fear it because we don't have an understanding of how it works. All right. And I know that sounds kind of funny. So they say there really is only two emotions, and that's love and fear. So fear is very close to hate. Fear is one of the worst emotions that you could have. But we fear things that we don't understand. And something that I wanted to really talk about, especially with Black folks, like, all right, why Black folks, why are we scared of everything? I really feel like compared to other races, Black people are scared of everything. I mean, we always shook, you know what I'm saying? You can't do this, can't do that. The church said don't do this. We're scared of certain things. And I wanted to kind of take the stigma off certain things that we may be afraid of for no particular reasons. I noticed that a lot of sacred geometry, I mean, stuff that is put out there for our empowerment, a lot of times it gets switched and it gets transformed and it gets perverted in a way that we're actually fearing symbols and we're fearing things that were made in the opposite way. So they were really made to enlighten us. They were really made as symbols to tell us stuff, to give us guidance, to give us, you know what I'm saying, to help us out along the way and to remind us of certain things. But now it's like we're afraid of these things. So I want to talk about that and figure out why are we afraid of everything? Is it because it's evil or is it because it's some kind of indoctrination or something like that that we went through? So a lot of times what happens, these symbols, the oppressor will change the meaning of them. It could mean something good way, way back in the day. They'll change the meaning of them. They'll flip it and they'll turn it into something bad. Once they turn it into that, we'll sort of stay away from it because it's taboo. Like I said, Black folks, we always scared of everything. It's always this spookism going on. Anything that has to do with sacred geometry or anything, we're afraid of it. But we got to make sure that we know that that's not fear. Because what happens is it resonates with us. So because it resonates with us, we don't know what that resonant is. It's resonating because it's something that's part of us, an ancient symbol that we probably use for some kind of power or just to recognize who we are, communicate with each other. But now it's been perverted in a way that is scary. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about, and all the stuff that we think is evil that's really not evil. Especially people from the church, they'll say, "Hey, meditation is evil. You can't meditate. You can't do anything. You can't look within." And I'm here to say that that stuff isn't evil. Anything that makes you look within and make you look within yourself is not evil. So we got to be a little bit more open, like to our ancient symbols and stuff like that, because stuff like that is something that we have an aversion to or that makes us feel a certain way. Like I said, go ahead and explore. Either you'll find out, you know. So I think that we shouldn't associate fear with evil because they're two totally different things. All right, so take this example right here, right? The reason why I wanted to do something about evil because so many people are scared of the devil. The devil is this deity that invokes fear in people. Everybody's scared of it. They're scared of this devil. They're scared that something's going to happen. And that fear is actually what's perpetuating the collective consciousness of this devil. If it wasn't for the people that were fearing and keeping it alive in their thoughts as thought forms, it wouldn't even exist. So what I want to say is that I think we got it off track as far as how we fear the devil. Okay. Especially black folks. Like I said, we scared of everything, right? So the devil. I think it's funny because, like I said, once you learn about something, the fear goes away. But like people are scared of the devil and they're scared of evil. But let me tell you, the devil doesn't work in fear or the oppressor or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't work in fear. If the devil tempts you to do something, you're not going to be afraid. It's going to be something that you want to do. It's going to be that hookah or that drink or whatever you want to do. That's what the devil is going to tempt you. Is going to tempt you to do something you want to do. It's not going to be fear. You're not going to be afraid. So people are always afraid of the devil, and they doing right what the devil want them to do anyway, because they're expecting the devil to come to them and do something that they're afraid of. But it's not like that. But instead, they're afraid of these symbols. They're afraid of reading literature. They're afraid of anything else, but they're not afraid of what they're supposed to be afraid of. So that's what I want to talk about, man. It's like we got to do a shift where we know the things that we should really be paying attention to and the things that don't really matter. So it doesn't have to be scary to be evil. Most evil stuff isn't scary. It's that temptation that we're getting to do what we want to do anyway. It's not going to be any fear in that. So, it kind of gets me when there's no fear in that. But then a person will go around and they'll fear a symbol. Oh, look at that symbol. That symbol is easy. That symbol is evil. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to edit this. The symbol is evil. Look at the symbol. But then you go get some temptation and you do something that's really evil. So that's what I want to talk about. Like, why are some things scary to us, right? Why are there some images? Why are there some animals? Why are there some things that scary to us? And really, the things that scary are the things that shouldn't be scary. All right. So the reason why things are scary to us is because we're ignorant. So fear comes from ignorance, not evil. You're not going to be scared of that evil. You're going to want to do that evil. But the fear is going to come from ignorance because you don't know something. So it's unknown to you. So you fear it. So the best way to overcome fear is just to get knowledge, especially about the stuff that we're afraid of. So many people are afraid to face their fears. But once you face your fears and you're not ignorant about what you're fearful of, guess what? You're not scared of it no more. So then maybe you can spend more time figuring out what you really should be afraid of, like that temptation and that stuff you really shouldn't be doing, but it's kind of drawing you to it. So that's the real evil. Selfishness is the real evil. Fear comes from ignorance, not evil. All right, so I just want to drop a few minutes. I just want to do a part two. Some people had some questions about the first evil video, so this was just a quick little follow up instead of trying to answer them individually. So this is the evil part too. If you have some more questions, I might do some more. But just remember that there's nothing to fear. Fear comes from ignorance. So anything that you're afraid of, that means you need to go read up on it. You need to figure out what's going on that makes you afraid of it. And you don't have to be afraid all the time, all right? So the next time you see that all-seeing eye, you can know, don't be afraid of it. Study and figure out what it's about and figure out the goodness in it. Now remember, everything can be used for good or evil. So just because somebody uses a certain symbol or something in a certain way that's evil, that doesn't mean that you have to be afraid of it. That doesn't mean that you have to say, "Hey, I'm gonna not use it because they're used for evil." No, you can still use it for good. An example, just like a gun. A gun can be used for good or evil. It's neutral, just like all these symbols, just like all these things are. But what you decide to do with it is what you decide to do with it. And by knowing and by having that knowledge of it, you can make the right decisions. So that's all I want to get with today. So I'm signing off. This is Sound, the old paper chase. See you next time. Evil. It is a complex and subjective concept that has been dated by theologians and scholars for centuries. Generally, evil is understood as actions, behaviors, or intentions that are morally reprehensible, harmful, or malicious in nature. But what is the face of evil? What does evil look like? Does evil look like this? Does evil mean fear? Because something is scary, does that automatically mean it is evil? It's also discussed within the framework of morality and ethics. So he's not scary, but he's greedy. He's smiling at us and he's a clean cut guy. Could he be evil? Could this be a face of evil? What about your grandma? She goes to church every Sunday, goes to Bible study every Wednesday. She couldn't possibly be evil, could she? Evil has no face. And the book that she studies couldn't possibly be evil, could it? So the first way I look at it is expressing the evil. So the most common way that people express evil is through profanity. So profanities are bad words. Not only do they sound bad coming out of your mouth, they also have the tendency to make people feel bad, but it's based on your intentions, just like everything else. If I said you smell like shit, then that's not a compliment. That's a bad thing, right? But if I say, yo, you are the shit, then that's a good thing. So it's all subjective. And then we have some words that are not curse words, but are almost like curse words or worse because they make some kind of trigger, like the N word. I'm not going to even say that because I don't want to get beat up. But it's worse than a curse word because it invokes negative emotions. So all of these words would be things that could be used for positive or negative, but mostly used for negative. So a lot of people would consider curse words as evil. Now we have profane gestures. You can moon somebody. You can give them a middle finger. Is that evil? That's just the next step up from the cursing, right? Is it okay to use profanity if I'm telling somebody to wear their fucking mask for the latest pandemic? Is it okay to curse then? Is that considered evil if I think that I'm doing right for the society? Or I have Pastor Porkchop that is always saying good stuff, always teaches prosperity, but he has bad intentions. Is he evil? All he says is good. So could that possibly be evil? So for those that are not sure, how we can judge evil is the intention of the person doing it. Are you doing it to hurt somebody or are you doing it to uplift someone? So that's how you can tell by the way they talk. And then how does it make the person feel that you're saying it to? That is the best judgment to see if you're saying something that could be harmful and evil or if you're saying something good. Okay, so the next step up is acts of violence. So not only are we cursing, which is evil, now we're doing acts of violence, things that could purposely hurt somebody. So it's no question that a chainsaw murderer would be evil. He kills non-discriminately anybody that's there for no apparent reason except for his own evil intentions. So we will say that that's definitely evil. But there are different levels to evil. Now, this murderer is more calm, calculated. He went and hid the body, but it's still evil, but he's hiding the evil. So he probably goes to work and nobody knows that he killed this person. So there are a lot of ways that people hide the evil. Then those protesters, you have Peter people that'll throw blood all over you just to prove a point. We have radicalism going on. Is that evil? Even if it's for a good cause. Suicide doctor, is that evil?
Ooh, I just met you.
Is sex evil? What about jealousy? All of these actions can fall under evil. Politicians telling lies, making promises that they can't keep. That's evil, right? Their intentions. Intention means everything. What about the Robin Hood type person that steals from the rich and gives to the poor? In her mind, she is doing a favor for the poor people because the rich people are evil and they don't need all that money. But is she evil for stealing the money? We have someone that doesn't even do all that. He just sits at home, does nothing. Can we call him evil, even though he doesn't do any of the evil things I stated before? So it's very subjective. So sometimes things that appear to be good are really evil, and things that we think are evil or that we're taught were evil are really good. Now, remember, fear and evil are not synonymous. You can be afraid of something that is not necessarily evil based on your social norms, your bringing up, your religion, or any particular paradigm that you're living under. So it is really subjective as far as evil. You need to look at your morals, and people have different morals in what they call evil and what they call not evil. So you really need to ask yourself, the person that you're acting on, how does it make them feel? If you're not sure whether you're doing evil or not, do they like it? Does it make them feel bad? So the question is, how evil are you? Tell the truth. Everybody has a little evil in them. And the faster you can figure that out, the faster you can know yourself. So don't lie to yourself. How are you evil? So watch your mouth, watch your actions, watch your profanity and your gestures, because you don't want to end up in hell being evil. Sound off.
Come a long way from where I used to be. Takes a long time to get to know me. What are your intentions? Why you playing me so close? It's gonna take some time to get to know.
Are you the us? Are you a cop? Am I on the interview? Am I on the clock?
Paranoia, man.
I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I feel the tension. Are you an ox? Are you a cop? Am I on the interview? Am I on the clock? I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I feel the tension.
I can feel, I'm feeling wired. Stomach butterflies. Listen to your instincts. Maybe a third eye. If if it don't feel okay, it's alright. Listen to your instincts. Go the other way.
Are you the ops? Are you a cop? Am I gonna kill a pill? Am I on the clock?
Are you wine up?
I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I give attention. Are you the ops? Are you a cop? Am I on the killer pill? Am I on the clock?
Paranoia.
I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I give attention. Are you the ops? Are you a cop? Am I on the killer pill? Am I on the clock? I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I feel attention.
You take it
Are you the ops? Are you a cop?
Are you a
Am I on the killer pill? Am I on the clock?
You need it in the
I don't have to see it to believe it. I follow my gut, I feel attention.
deep.